Hey everybody, before we get started, I just wanted to say, if you enjoy our content and want to stay up to date with our videos, hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel. Thanks. So, on to the video.
After a skirmish on the back of a moving train, your party is successful at escorting the vehicle to its destination. At the last second, you and your friends jump off and watch as the train barrels into the enemy fortress, causing massive destruction to the front gate. You all then gather together and push through the enemy base. Once successful in defeating the enemy commander, you enter into the dome and witness what used to be Yasolani.
What greeted us was not the home that I had left behind. There was no mistaking we had reached Yasolani, and yet it was wholly unlike my memories. The lands of my childhood had changed beyond imagining. To where had I returned? We tread on, the darkened skies above a mirror to my heart, clouded with fear and uncertainty.
When you arrive inside the dome, it is immediately apparent the area has changed significantly. A massive tower looms over the center of the area, with unfamiliar structures built all over the place. Erenville's confused how the landscape of Yasolani could change so quickly. The party theorizes what could have happened to the area, but you have little information, so you all continue to explore Yasolani to find more clues. Old railroad tracks and settlements have fallen into disrepair, as though they have not been used in quite some time, further confusing Erenville, as the railroad settlement was only built 2 years ago. Alizé theorizes with all the clues they've gathered, time flows differently in the dome. A similar phenomenon occurred when traveling between the source and the first shard years ago. But the area is clearly Yasolani, so we are indeed still on the source. Wuklamot doesn't understand much of what you're speaking of, but she thinks the party should travel further in and find more information. Eventually, you arrive at Erenville's childhood home. It is in ruins. He looks around deeply confused and worried. As the party searches for missing villagers, they're interrupted by a familiar, oddly dressed young woman.
I apologize for giving you a fright. However, I did have reason to keep to the shadows. Zoraal Ja has told me a great deal about you.
Zoraal Ja?
Greetings, and welcome to the realm of Alexandria. I am Sphene, the Queen of Reason.
Everyone quickly realizes that she rules the land alongside the King of Resolve, Zoraal Ja, and she mentions as much. Your party takes up their arms, realizing they're in front of one of the leaders behind the massacre in Tuliolal. The Queen of Reason claims she did not come to fight. She confirms Zoraal Ja rules alongside her, but vaguely says that was a matter of expedience. The two rulers are currently at odds with each other. Sphene says she is taking a large risk meeting you here and begging your aid. Wuklamot imagines Zoraal Ja isn't one to share, but is not so gullible that Sphene had no say in the matter. Sphene frames it as though Zoraal Ja invaded her realm, and in fear, she struck a bargain, giving him technology to help with his ambitions, and in exchange, she would stay queen. Kryl is confused and asks how Zoraal Ja could invade and instate a new system of power in just a few days. Erenville also asks what became of the people that lived here, and where did Sphene and her people come from? She claims she doesn't fully understand it herself. She simply explains that one day, people from Tuliolal suddenly appeared in Alexandria, or Alexandria somehow appeared in Tuliolal. Until today, They had no idea what was taking place outside of the barrier around their home. Grahatia compares it to the Crystal Tower being transported to the first years ago. The people of the area described it the same way, much like Sphene does. She then suggests to escort you through the outskirts of the area to learn more. Alize is hesitant and thinks it might be a trap, but for Erenvel's sake, she agrees to follow, hoping to find more of his people along the road. Wuklamant asks one final time if Sphene had anything to do with the attack. She says the things that attacked are from Alexandria, fashioned by Zoraal Ja for war. She denies agreeing with the attack, but does not deny the responsibility of it. Wuklamant nods and says she doesn't know much of her and her people, and hopes to learn more and understand her. Sphene is shocked by Wuklamant's reply, and a genuine warmth comes across her face. You ask if it's safe, as Zoraal Ja might find out. Sphene questions if you are suspicious of her or concerned for her. Either way, she half-jokingly asks if things go wrong, would it be fine for her to ask for your aid? She acknowledges that out of the arriving group, you seem like the most capable. Sphene then leads you to a village on the outskirts of the immense central tower. It seems as though it's a combination of Alexandrian technology and cultural practices from the Tuliyolalans. People of the village immediately recognize their queen and are happy to see her. Alize notices Wuklamant and Sphene's approach to their people are very similar, to come to know and love their people as family themselves. You are then introduced to Popone, the leader of the people on the outskirts. Erenvel recognizes him as a local. He then asks if he knows about his mother Kakiwa. Popone has no memory of her, but Sphene perks up, recognizing the name, and now noticing the resemblance. Erenvel tries to get more information out of her, but she simply says she cannot inform him right now, hinting she is being spied on. He nods in agreement, picking up her signal. Wuklamant then asks Popone if he has any memory on what happened on the day the dome appeared. He recalls that there was a terrible earthquake, then a flash of light. After that, his memory is hazy. As it is revealed, those events took place over 30 years ago to the people in the dome. The party is shocked by this revelation. Sphene confirms to them that the events leading to the joining of their lands did indeed occur 30 years ago. She claims to have no idea why their perception of time is different to yours. They only became aware of this discrepancy when the Vanguard base was completed and were at last able to venture outside the dome. You recall Zoraal Ja claiming he thought his father long dead. Having experience with this concept, Grahatia believes when the dome appeared, the two worlds' temporal flow was off. But after Zoraal Ja connected them with his base, it made a bridge, solidifying time between the two realms. Alize believes they should gather more information and asks Sphene if everyone can explore and talk to the locals. Sphene is happy to comply and gives you and Wuklamant a personal tour of the area. During the tour, it is plain to Wuklamant that while she does not fully trust Sphene, her love for her people seems quite genuine. Once your tour is over, you notice villagers rushing into a building. Wuklamant is curious on what's going on. Sphene simply says it must nearly be time. You then follow her to meet with the local, who is clearly near the end of their lifespan. It is revealed to be Namika, 30 years older. Wuklamant is surprised to see her in this state, only after they just said goodbye to each other a few days ago. She informs Sphene she knows Namika, and of their relationship. Sphene explains Namika was always a kindly ear to others in the area, but rarely spoke of herself. Wuklamant tries to speak to her mother but gets no response. Popone explains her time is nearly at its end. You hear villagers ask about something called soul cells, and if Namika ran out. Another villager answers and explains even if she had cells left, the soul cells cannot stop death by aging. Ushers then arrive to take Namika away. Sphene says goodbye to Namika and thanks her for her years of friendship. Wuklamant asks where they're taking her, and Sphene lets her know that they're taking her to a medical facility in the central tower to ease her burden. She had planned to have Namika relocated sooner, but Namika wished to remain with her people for as long as possible, and Sphene couldn't refuse her. Wuklamant then asks if she can get some time alone with her mother before she's taken. Sphene agrees to her request, and everyone leaves the room. Afterwards, she then thanks Sphene for letting her see her mother in the end. Sphene quickly says it's not the end, before changing subjects. From what Alize gathered at this point, the Alexandrians and the Yaqui beliefs on death and living on through memory are quite similar. Afterwards, the party goes over all the information that has been gathered from exploring and speaking to villagers. Inside the dome, 30 years ago, the lands of Alexandria and Yasolani became one. In this time outside of the dome, only a few days had passed. Zoraal Ja built up his forces and created the base that would be a bridge between the two lands, fusing the rift in time together and stabilizing it. Alexandria was displaced from another reflection, but what confuses Grahatia is the sheer scale. It's far past what a void gate would be able to do, or what was done previously with the Crystal Tower. He believes this is more likened to a compressed rejoining of worlds, as the Ascians were attempting to do with all of the reflections. He again asks how this feat was done. Sphene claims she has no idea, as this talk of dimensions and reflections goes well above her. She says that all she knows is that they lived under the dome's protection for hundreds of years, until the events you are describing. Kryl then clarifies that the dome existed prior to the displacement of Alexandria. Sphene answers yes, that several hundred years ago, her world was ravaged by a devastating cataclysm. The barrier was erected to protect Alexandria from the effects of this cataclysm. Wuklamot summarizes, Sphene and her people are lost like everyone else, and didn't mean to end up in Tural. The queen gives a shocked look at Wuklamot, and then calmly smiles, and changes the subject. Next, she wants to take you to the central giant tower, the Everkeep. She can get you into the tower, but does not have the authority to take you where Zoraal Ja resides. Wuklamot makes her intentions clear to Sphene. She plans to get revenge for the murder of her father. That means killing the king of Alexandria, and asks if she's willing to stand by and allow her king to be slain. She avoids answering the question by saying the happiness of her people is paramount, and she will do anything to protect their happiness. Sphene then leaves to register you into the Everkeep system as a guest, and she'll meet you in the tower when you're ready. She also gives Erenville a hint where you can find his mother. During this conversation, you notice that Pepone's headgear begins to blink. Before leaving to track down Erenville's mother, Wuklamot thanks Pepone for being a friend to Namika all these years. Pepone looks at Wuklamot, confused, and asks, "Who is Namika?" The mood drops suddenly as everyone realizes what might be going on. By probing Pepone more, it is revealed that those who pass away get wiped from the memories of the people of Alexandria, and their data uploaded to the cloud in the tower. After gathering more information from the villagers, you come to the conclusion that the device the Alexandrians are wearing on their head alter the people's memories. They will go on in their life not knowing that the person ever existed. The memories of that particular person are all uploaded to the cloud in the central tower. While discussing, Erenville notices you are all being spied on by some sort of machine. The party chases after it, and they eventually are led to a hidden base. Once inside, you're ambushed and a standoff ensues. Before things can escalate, the machine calls out Erenville's birth name, Eleneshpia. It is revealed the person controlling this machine is his mother, Kakiwa. She is ecstatic to see her fussy little bun. Meanwhile, Erenville is dumbstruck as he doesn't know how to feel, but he can easily tell it's clearly his mother. Kakiwa then invites the party further into the base to talk. She introduces you to the members of Oblivion, resistance members of Alexandria, who wish to thwart Zoraal Ja's ambitions of conquest. She explains her appearance as a machine is to keep her safe and out of harm's way as the leader of Oblivion. Her real body is in a different location. Afterwards, your party asks more about the devices seen, worn by the Alexandrians. They confirm much of her suspicions, but other than wiping a person's memory when a person dies, the regulator gives them a backup soul, reviving the person. Spare souls are an integral part of Alexandrian society. They were a byproduct of the calamity many years ago to slow down the death toll among the people. Grahatia is reminded how the Void Scent consumes souls in the same manner, but the Void Scent lose their sense of self in the process. As when a soul is consumed, you take on their memories as well, eventually the being becoming an amalgamation of different beings. But it seems as though Alexandrian scientists were able to invent a way to cleanse a soul of its memories and package them in cells for consumption. When a person dies suddenly, the regulator expends the soul, reviving the person, but its second function is to overwrite the blank soul with the memories of its owner. But when a person reaches their natural end of their lifespan, as in old age, spare souls have no effect. The regulator collects the soul and it is processed, continuing the cycle. The deceased's memories, and all those who knew of them's memories, uploaded to the cloud to be remembered by the system. Believing by removing the memories is a kindness to spare the people the pain of loss. Alize and most of your party members find this practice unsettling, but to even the Oblivion members, they find nothing weird about it, as it's just what they're used to. Kakiwa makes it clear that regulators are not mandatory and are by choice. Some choose not to wear them, like some of the Oblivion members, but many accept the practice due to its incredibly useful nature. Kakiwa then takes you to a local hunter to show you what else regulators are capable of. It's revealed that regulator users are able to consume the souls of beasts, giving them incredible power. But if someone were to consume too many beast souls, their form would change physically as well, thus giving the party the final puzzle piece on how Zoraal Ja was revived during his fight with Zoraal Ja and was suddenly able to overpower him. After feeling comfortable enough to know both Oblivion and your party's goals align, Wuklama offers to join hands with the resistance. Plan and precautions are then discussed on how to best get to Zoraal Ja. Wuklama believes if they wait long enough, Zoraal Ja will grow tired of waiting and take the field, giving you an opportunity to strike as you're unable to reach him inside the Everkeep. While waiting, Kakiwa invites you to the Oblivion headquarters hidden in the Everkeep. Meanwhile, we cut to a meeting between Sphene and Zoraal Ja.
You've been consulting with Wuklamat.
No matter. I do not know what you are scheming. But when your realm lay on the brink, you were powerless. You had no choice but to turn to me. Whatever sentiment you may feel for her, it is my power you require, is it not?
Perhaps. And yet, knowing the love that Wuklamat bears for her people, how she regards them all as kin, I cannot help but wish to spare her the same pain I have suffered. What's more, her friends possess new knowledge. Were we to work together, we might find another path. I know you're loath to consider it, but is there no hope for peace with Tuliyola? What we've already done may be unforgivable, but it needn't continue. You needn't kill your brother and sister.
I slew my only flesh and blood. Yet you attempt to sway me with an appeal to family. The memory of my father's final moments still fills me with disappointment. Age came for him before I did. For long years, I sought to prove the miracle. And weak as he was, defeating him achieved nothing. To kill them is my only recourse. Wuklamat and Kona, who bested him as he was in his prime.
They are still your siblings, even if not by blood. That such bonds should mean so little to you.
I am bound to no one. Serve none save myself. I made that clear when first you spoke to me in the Golden City. Remember, I can easily kill your beloved family. If you would protect them, cast aside any foolish notions. Your wisdom and abilities are valuable insofar as our goals align. So think well before you act, Queen of Reason. Wuklamat, if you are father's worthy successor, then you will find your way to me. But should you fall short, I will lay waste to Tuliyola.